Hello and welcome to my presentation here on Kashmir. And this is my presentation for what I think Kashmir has to do with the future of Pakistan and why we should care. And the title of my presentation is called Kashmir, Looking Ahead. We're going to start out with a brief synopsis and history of Kashmir. Right now the principal religion of the people in Kashmir is Sunni Muslim. That's not always how it was, though. At a time it was Hinduism and Buddhism, and they also had their own cultural indigenous religion as well. Kashmir has been in occupation since the mid 1300s. That the people who have occupied Kashmir has changed hands over the time, but this has been a country and a place that has been in occupation for almost 1,000 years, about 750 years now. And it's just amazing. And the geography of Kashmir is very beautiful, but it's very mountainous and it's at a high altitude. And why do we care about Kashmir? In short, because it's the conflict of a lot of conflict in the Middle East. So let's first look at the Indian side. The size of the Indian occupation of Kashmir is about 43% of the totality of the area. And this started from the partition of India in 1947, when Pakistan and India split off and a couple other things happened. But in this, India believes that it received the whole of Kashmir. And they believe to this day, actually, that Pakistan is illegally invading and occupying Kashmir. India believed they received the whole of it. Right now, globally, India is understood to occupy about 43% of Kashmir. There's also a Chinese side. This part of Kashmir is called Aksai Chin, and it's been occupied by China since the Sino-Indian War that happened in 1962. This went on for 1 month and 1 day, and it's a war in which China resoundingly won and drew what was called a line of actual control. And this was formed after this Sino-Indian War, and it's the border between India and the People's Republic of China. This border, though, is still in flux and still in conflict between China and India. And India reports hundreds upon hundreds of illegal sightings of Chinese on their part of Kashmir every year. Then we have the indigenous side to Kashmir. These are the people who are natively indigenous to the Kashmir place. These people come from as I said before, a Hinduist and a Buddhist and their own native religious background. And once they were occupied, Islam was introduced, and they have not been spoken for really since. Much of the academia and much of the news that goes on around Kashmir has to do with the fact that of the Pakistan and the India conflict, but really there is a group of people here who have been put out of their homes since the 1300s, just similarly as people who immigrated to America did to the Native Americans in the 15, 16, and 1700s and beyond. This has been happening to indigenous people to Kashmir, and they're relatively peaceful and they're not spoken about, but really they're the ones who hurt the most through all of this conflict. And that brings us to Pakistan, and that's why we're talking about this. Pakistan believes that they received a portion of Kashmir that totals about 37%. And it's a portion called Assad Kashmir. And Pakistan believes they're owed this after the partition of India. And they believe that India is encroaching more and more on their what they believe their allotted version of Kashmir is. And it's really caused Pakistani people to lose a lot of lives and just lose a lot in this conflict. And the global effects of Kashmir are long-reaching, considering how small the area actually is. There's war constantly in Kashmir between the Indians and the Pakistanis, between India and China, and even because there's a small part of Kashmir that Afghanistan lays claim to, and the Afghanis fight in these wars over Kashmir, and there's just a lack of recognition of what Kashmir is around the entire world. India doesn't respect that Pakistan has any hold over Kashmir. China mostly stays out of it, but India believes that China has been encroaching on what they believe is theirs, and India believes Kashmir belongs directly to India. And Kashmir, while it is a beautiful place and has been in the past a source of tourism, it's dangerous to be a tourist there now because of the constant battles and the constant wars and the effects that you have of displacing indigenous peoples. And my opinions here in what I would do for Kashmir that would really help India's and Pakistan's relationship is let Kashmir be its own place. Get rid of the occupation, this imperialist occupation of Pakistan and India and China, and let Kashmir give it back to those who are indigenous to that place. I believe it's the right thing to do, and I believe that it will bring peace to all of these nations and all of these countries that haven't seen peace in years and years and years. Thank you.